Welcome to the Consulting Leaders Podcast, where we talk about the business of consulting. Whether you're looking to grow your practice or learn from the stories of leaders in consulting, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Guillaume Jouvencel, ex-PwC and co-founder of GHA Marketing. Join me as I interview the best consultants in their niche. Let's get on with the show. Ryan, welcome to Consulting Leaders. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
So let's just jump straight into it. What got you into consulting?
So a couple of things. One, actually, yeah. So the two things are this. So one is I had a background in professional sports, and where I saw burnout take out a lot of great players, and in my college and professional sports career, and then I saw the same thing in the medical profession. I saw some people with this talented gifts to heal, but the running of a medical business and a medical practice burnt them out. And so it's those two things combined to create this common chord, if you will, of all these experiences that I've had in growing medical organizations, fast-growing organizations, learning how to lead people, how to help organizations change. And so I did all this stuff with huge global organizations, but the people that really needed the help were the small and medium-sized businesses here in the States. And so that is what got me into a place of where I started to help these small and medium-sized businesses understand the people in their businesses and the difference between being an owner-operator versus being a business leader.
I like it a lot. So can you walk us through what problem you solve exactly?
So the problem I solve for the business owner is I allow them, I equip them with the tools and the perspective that they need to lead a business instead of just operating a business. And in the absence of these tools, they get caught up in some very limited mindsets that sound a lot like this. They sound like, I'm the only one who can. It's easier if I do it myself. I don't have time to train, and there's no good people anymore. And all four of those things are false narratives that happen in that owner-operator when they've just never learned how to lead and empower people.
So I'm going to ask this in a bit of an interested manner because I might be the exact target. How do you get them to shift that mindset? How do you take a business leader, a founder, and tell him, look, sure, you've been doing it for like the last 3 years and you're the only one who's been doing it. So obviously you know it better than anyone for now, but this can change. How do you make them change this mindset? And then how do you help them to tactically implement that?
So it's two steps. So first I help them talk to me about the vision they have for their business. What do they want their business to mean for them in 5, 10, 15 years? If they just love doing what they do and they have no vision for growth or to sell or transfer the business, then the owner-operator mindset is fine. There's lots of people in this beautiful country of ours that are very happy and effective doing what they do at an expert level and never getting beyond what their own capacity and hours in the day will give them. Now, many of them in that conversation have a different vision than that. They would like to have a business and the difference for them is, can I walk away from my business for 30, 60, 90 days and come back to a successful business with revenue? If they can do that, then they have a business on their hands. If they can't, they are an owner-operator with a vision for a business. And so once they clarify where they want to go, if they want to own a business that they can walk away from or sell or transfer, then I start talking to them about their behaviors in the business. And their behaviors as a leader in the business often come down to a couple of things. It comes down to they have a vision, but they're not very good at communicating that vision with the people around them and in the business. And then secondly, they just haven't proven it to themselves that they don't have the skills they need to build out the functions of a business. Does that make sense?
It does, 100%. So do you address the specific problems and I guess desired outcomes for a specific industry, specific company size? Like what's the sweet spot for you?
Yeah, the sweet spot is really has to do with the size and the number of people. The revenue doesn't matter, the vertical doesn't matter, but if they have anywhere from 2 to 200 people on their staff or as independent contractors that they're utilizing, then those are the ideal target for me.
Why that sweet spot? So obviously, if it's one, they probably don't need to delegate that much. But why stopping at 200? Why not going, 300, 400, 6 gazillion?
Right. Well, what's fun and exciting about that work is that it involves a team, and I'm very grateful for the experience I've had with companies like Alcon and Cochlear and Essilor and Freeman, these big global companies, to where I was helping them to do that leadership work, that transformative work, to make sure that they can scale and handle growth without breaking people. And what I found is that if I stay in that 2 to 200 sweet spot, I can do that with the size of my team that I have now, with a handful of experts and consultants that I have on my team right now, and we can do some very powerful work. And at that size, we get a very fast turn, right? They have breakthroughs quite frequently, like on a monthly basis. And for myself, that's something that really fills my cup, is when I can have a conversation with somebody and help them understand that, hey, there's a different approach. And if you take 10% of your time and energy and kind of shift it this way, you can really have these breakthroughs, and they just unlock and unload. And it's really, really gratifying and exciting. So some of my customers have grown beyond that 200 employee sweet spot. So I have some construction companies that are in the 500 or 600 employees, and I do some strategic work with them. But for the companies that I'm bringing on and helping grow right now, my really fun sweet spot is that 2 to 200.
So there is something I want to double down on here, Ryan, which is, so this is gold. This makes a lot of sense.
Thank
And
you.
I think B2B coaches and consultants, as they grow and expand, they are often tempted to go after more ICPs, more different avatars, more different clients. And I think the companies that are able to grow the fastest, but also aiming for the long term, are the ones who are able to focus on that one niche market. And the reason is very simple. They understand them better than they do themselves for their specific problem, their
Yeah.
specific niche. And when you're able to address this particular pain point, those particular desired outcomes to a particular size of company, so 200 employees, this is where the magic happens. So that's an important detail, and I like it a lot.
Thank you.
How do you get people to know you? Like, how do you market to business owners having between 2 and 200 employees, or contractors working for them, that they might have this problem and that you might be the solution? How do you brand yourself?
So a couple different ways. So I love to do keynote speaking. So I'll do some public speaking keynotes for different organizations, associations, trade shows, leadership groups, mastermind groups. So I love to talk about how common burnout is, and I prefer, and this is part of my faith, to just share some really obvious signs or symptoms of burnout, and some very easy to take action on types of tactics that everybody can employ to really preserve their gift and their energy and be more present for those important communities that they have. So the keynoting and speaking is a primary driver of my business development, if you will. The other way is through networking. And as I network with people, I try and make sure they know and understand that, I'm not everybody's leadership development expert, right? I work with people who are in growing companies, and there is just a plethora of self-help leadership out there for those people that are looking for that. Oh, I have $200 to spend on leadership development. I just want to spend it on a Franklin Covey course or a John Maxwell course. And for those places, that's fine. I'm the type of guy that works with growing companies that have this vision to grow, but they want to do it in a way where they're not breaking themselves or breaking the people that serve their companies. And then the last is I try and make it as companies work with me and as people come through my workshops, they become very, and I say this proudly, right? Maybe a little too prideful, but
It's good.
people who come through my workshops, they become big fans of the transformative work that we do. And so I try and make it easy for them to stay in contact with me so that they can refer others to me or as their companies grow, they can invest in their people through me. Those are the three primary prongs that I use to market myself.
Tell me a bit more about the workshops. So that's a service in itself, right? So people would have to pay to attend those, or
That's correct. Yeah.
okay. So this is kind of middle of funnel, right? You have like the keynote speaking, the content, and then you have the workshops, which acts kind of as of a funnel to
Mm-hmm.
get people to work with you on bigger, longer term engagements. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
How did you? So that's interesting. How did you come about doing those workshops, getting people to? Is it in person, like physically in person?
They're blended. A lot of them have been in person, but we're doing blended now. We started
Okay,
doing some of our low cost kind of introductory workshops. We'll do those virtually.
super interesting. Cool. Um, Then there is the referral partner aspect that I'd like to dig into. So, I mean, most B2B coaches and consultants, they're going to get their business initially mainly from referrals, right? Which is when you're doing a good job, people just talk about you.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned you are getting people to refer you. So, can you break that down a bit more? I think that could be super valuable for consultants who get referrals from their clients, but are not getting referral partners who can bring them additional business. So, how did you implement this, and how do you make it work tactically?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point of distinction, Jeremy. So you have those who come through my workshops and they become what I call fans, right? They've
Yeah.
had experiences with me. They know that the work that me and my company do are different, and so those are referrals, right? Your traditional sense of referrals.
Yeah.
And then another part of the middle, the middle of my funnel is what I call referral partners. And so as I network, because when I'm networking, I'm not just trying to find business referrals. I'm networking in a very proactive, intentional way to find people that are experts at what they do. And when they have proven to themselves to me that they are experts in what they do and very good at what they do, then they become somebody that are what I call a referral partner. As I work with businesses and small businesses as they grow, it would be absolutely insane for me to think that I'm the only answer that they need. If they need deep financial expertise, if they need deep accounting expertise, if they need some deep HR strategy consulting, or if they need to talk about business valuation or things like that, then I'm not a fake it till you make it type of guy. I've got a pretty solid network of professionals that I trust deeply, and I would refer my customers to if they have that problem. And as I establish that level of trust and rapport with those referral partners, that's the same ask or relationship that they have with me. So as they are coaching and consulting with their clients, if they have a burnout scenario on their hands, then they refer that client to me, and then I help them there. So that's the two types. There's referrals from the existing fans, and then referrals from what I would call my trusted referral partners that are experts at what they do.
I love this. So I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole because I think this is great, and with the right tactics, this can be easily implemented. So, what do you have in place? Like, do you have a referrals agreement? Do you have a newsletter specifically for the referrals? For the referral partners? Do you have specific email chains for them? Like, how do you keep them engaged? Because it's so easy to, yes, we work with multiple people that have multiple services, and actually, maybe some people we know could use the services, but because the incentive is not that big, we just forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you tackle that?
Yeah, so that's been a work in progress. That's a really important piece. Is that as we have grown at XM Performance, that was something that we realized that was a weakness of ours of staying in touch with people, and so we were very reactive to it historically. And so throughout the last 12 months or so, we've developed digital campaigns that allow us to be more proactive. And so as people engage with us through our workshops as referral partners, as big fans of us, they stay connected to us through our digital marketing campaign. We're working on a platform where we can leverage some AI. That's in design right now. But something where they can constantly stay in touch with us, have access to our tools, have access to our insights that would reflect back to their training experiences with us, as well as easy access to engage us in other work. For the referral partners, for those trusted referral partners, we're just starting that right now in terms of what does our referral program look like? How often do we stay engaged with them? In the third quarter, we did a referral partner only program. We called it Taste of XM. And so I just invited my local referral partners who were just getting to know me, that I had high confidence in. And so we gave them a taste of what we do in our workshops and how we lean into transformation. And so from there, we're going to create more of a digital pathway that I can stay connected with them on, so that they have easy access to me as well.
That does make a lot of sense. Okay, that was a bit of a tangent, but I love marketing tactics, so I thought that was interesting and valuable for the audience. So that's how you help, who you help, how you market. Tell me more about how you bring this home. Like, how do you get people from interested, from they attended one workshop, from they've listened to you speaking at a keynote, to SOW, letter of engagement, we rock and roll? How do you make that? What does the sales motion looks like?
Yeah, so when I'm doing a keynote, I always have a call to action at the end. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine, is that as I've seen and gone to different, good keynotes versus great ones, the good ones are great. The good ones are fine. They're inspirational and so forth, but there's never anything you can take away and really apply unless you're just super eager. I'm a pretty eager learner, so I learned a lot from a lot of different things. So what I did is, when I'm doing my keynotes, I always end my keynotes with a call to action and a QR code, to where if they want some free help, I give them some free help. So I have some tools that are free access for them that can help them take action on the things that I've talked about, whether it's burnout or emotional intelligence or confirmation bias. Those are three things I like to talk about. So I just always make sure I spend time and design the experience to where there's a call to action at the end. Once that call to action is if they just want my free tool and never again, then I engage them in my digital campaign so that they can stay in touch with me and find me when they're ready. If there's something burning on their minds, pun intended, then we set up a one-on-one conversation where we go more specifically into what's going on with their business, and then we decide where we're going from there.
Does make a lot of sense. One of the things that I learned when I was still working at PwC, one of the things that my partner taught me at the time actually was the fact that there were two types of consultants. There are the hunters and the farmers. Mm-hmm. And he told me, Guillaume, I'm a hunter. I love the smell of fresh blood in the morning. I love to go after new business. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. But the consultants actually growing the fastest and bringing the most money home are the farmers, the ones who are able to take that initial engagement and transform it into a multi-layered, multi-year project, feeding other teams and really over-delivering on that one initial engagement to continue delivering value and billing accordingly. How do you do this, Brian?
Yeah, that's a really important piece, and I couldn't agree more. There's the finances of it are very well studied. That it's to acquire a new dollar in your business from a new customer is quite expensive versus generating a new dollar from an existing client that you already have. And so I totally agree with you. And there's a little bit, I have not mastered this yet, but there's a little bit of a dance, if you will, as you have your initial conversations with the client. You need to help them understand and help them kind of prioritize in their mind what problem they want to take advantage of first. And then also, kind of put some breadcrumbs and some leading questions in there so they see what a long-term partnership looks like. And so I don't have a real system to it at this point, but whenever I'm talking to them in that initial conversation and they start talking to me about these problems, I let them know how we would approach that specific problem and then what it looks like to solve it. And what most training organizations or most consultants will talk about is like, oh yeah, we'll do this workshop and then you'll be fixed. But that's the thing, is that leadership and behavior change like this is not just a boink, one workshop and now it's all solved, because human beings have this nasty habit of going back to old confirmed behaviors. And so every time that I pitch a proposal, I talk about how this training piece, what it looks like, and then what follow-up would look like and continuation would look like. And then I give them some understanding of what long-term strategic partnerships look like. So when they say yes, in my opinion, and I'm trying to always test this out, they should have clarity of what I'm going to do immediately and what the next year would look like should things go well in this initial offering.
You're very upfront about it as of the initial engagement.
Correct. Correct.
That's very interesting. Why is that? Have you found this working better than arriving at the end of the first engagement and being like, hey, look, so as discussed, here is the roadmap, here is the things we did together, here is the next steps. Like, does this approach of like being upfront with everything, like, hey, this is what we're gonna work first, but if everything goes well, this is what I want to do with you,
Yeah.
works better than first delivering and then pitching the rest?
So far, it has. And the caveat I would say is that when I tell them what the whole pack, and I'll give you an example of a medical office that we just pitched recently. And so the burning issue was just a lack of engagement and, kind of high turnover, which is pretty common with a lot of medical practices, and they just tolerate it, right? So they realize, man, it would be great if I didn't have to deal with all this turnover, all this retraining and so forth. And so we let them know what employee engagement looks like and how to engage the team. And we're going to play this really important role in this team performance workshop that's happening. But then, and when I pitched it back to them, I said, here's our solution, team performance workshop. And then we'll do this follow-up thing with your leaders in January. Then we'll do this in mid-year. And then we'll create this cadence of team engagement that would look like this at the end of 2026.
Yeah.
And so I pitched the whole thing in segments, almost like a 7-course meal, right? You're French, you love food. Food is this amazing thing, and it happens in sequence, right?
It is.
Yeah. And so I show them what this whole 7-course meal would look like, and I give them a number for the whole 7-course meal. And then I also, as I showed this to them, I said, what I would recommend is that we start with this, and then if we suck and we're not delivering, then we don't have to go any further, right? And so it's pieced out. But it's incumbent upon me, and I take this on, very deliberately, is that I need to blow them away in my experiences with them, so that they are very eager to continue working with me.
Let me continue with the food analogy then.
All right.
Do you have any wine pairing with that? Like, do you also propose upsells or downsells, since you're so transparent and holistic about your offer initially? Like, do you have things, if they take you on the offer directly, do you have an upsell or downsell that you can pair the 7-course menu with?
You know what? I'm working on that. So I recently learned about this whenever you make an offer, you have this, it's called a butterfly approach, right? So your middle offering is the one that you are just really, really good and exceptional at. You can execute this pretty flawlessly, consistently. Then you have your premium offer that takes a little bit more of a high-end touch, a little more offering, and it's a little bit more expensive, more exclusive. Yep. And then you have hey, if you can't afford any of this, then here's the bottom one. So I'm really good. I have my middle level, and then I do have this increased upgrade, but I need to create that bottom level integration to where people can stay connected and get a piece of us without having the whole, so they can have the appetizer, if you will, without the whole entree.
That's interesting. I love food analogies. Is it because I'm French? I don't know. Maybe.
I've got a little French in me, and the only answer is more butter. The more butter, the better.
That's actually, it's a famous French chef who said this. Like a good purée de pommes de terre. I wouldn't know how to say this in English. Mashed potato is half potato, half butter.
Oh yeah,
freaking fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's Paul Bocuse. I'm not sure. Brian, clearly so what I love about this is that you've nailed, so you're hyper clear on your avatar. You've nailed the acquisition channels, keynotes, a bit of content, referral partners, workshops. The process to retain a client after they onboard is clear from the get-go. Because all the business founders, this is what's written on your website, all business founders get stuck. Where are you stuck?
Where am I stuck right now?
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on, not stuck, but I'm at what do you call it? Critical mass is what I would call it, right? So we're at this critical mass point to where I need to bring on some people and kind of hand over my business development playbook to them, so that we can grow and have my kind of larger footprint in Phoenix and in Colorado and in Florida. And so those are 3 states that, we have business all over the country, but those are 3 states that we have kind of critical mass. We have enough customer activity and client activity out there to where I think we can start filling up workshops and get some really quick lift on the biz dev if we do it on the ground game out there.
I like that.
Yeah. So just trying to button up my playbook so that when I bring somebody on, they don't have to go through the same struggle that I went through. And so I want them to start with a little bit more momentum and a little bit more insight as to what our ideal client looks like, how we go about finding them, what the conversations look like, and what the offers look like.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I guess this answers a bit that question, but what's the next big lever for growth for you? And I'm talking not like wishy-washy 12 to 24 months, more like 3 to 6 months. How do you see your consulting practice growing, and what's the biggest opportunity?
Yeah. So the biggest opportunity is going to be finding that next biz dev person for me. So something that my partner and I have really kind of worked out here is that what makes us really effective at talking with the business owners and talking about the leadership development tactics that we teach is that we live, eat, and breathe these things. Everything that we teach, we model because we've led teams and we've done this before. And so one of the mistakes that I've made in the past is because I'm a huge optimist, right? So I get some young, aggressive person coming out of college that has this aspiration of being their own consultant, running their own business and so forth. And they have all this enthusiasm and energy, but they don't have the experience to connect with that business owner in the gray area of where life happens. So a big differentiator for us as a leadership development company is that we teach in black and white, which helps people learn, but then we spend time with our clients in the gray areas of where business happens and where life happens, because that's where the transformation is made. It's not in these perfect little scenarios that we draw up because they teach well. And so for that reason, I have to find somebody that has had experiences like I have had in leading teams, running businesses, hiring people, firing people, making business changes on the fly. They need to have those experiences and those stories to help connect with the business owners, because that helps us to really differentiate what we're doing in the marketplace, and it helps the business owners feel more comfortable and confident that we're not just pitching some idea, but we're actually trying to find people in our tribe, right? That we believe business needs people, and it needs people to believe in your business's vision. And when we can lead our businesses well and we can treat our people well, they're not only going to serve your clients well, but they're going to serve their families better when they get home. If they feel like they've done good work, they're going to be happier when they get home. And they're going to be better to a better father, a better mother, a better sister, brother, right? And so when we are passionate about this and we've lived it, we're gonna better fulfill that promise and find those business owners that need to be a part of our tribe.
Amen to that. Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan, if people want to find out more about you and what you do, where should they go?
No, I appreciate that. Yeah. So you can find me at ryanmainey.com, or you can look us up at XM Performance.
We'll put all the links in the description. We're already connected on LinkedIn, so that's for sure a guaranteed +1 connection out of this interview. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on Consulting Leaders.
All right. I appreciate it. Good talking with you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Leaders Podcast. We hope you learned valuable lessons on how to grow your practice and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.